Yeah. Okay. Beautiful day. In a bit, I will just share my screen so we can begin our classes. So what problem do this window? Okay. Yeah. So far, so good. I don't know, has anybody have you been able to complete our staging our staging models? And how many of us are able to the read the documentation I shared with us to read? Are we there? Yes, Springer, please go ahead.
I'll just, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I was just indicating that done, um, I've done the staging, computer staging models, and yeah, the documentation you shared, I glanced through it.
Okay. So for the rest of us, how many of us have gone through that documentation? Not yet. How many of us have completed the staging model? Show of hands. Doesn't mean we've not completed the staging models. Are we together in this thing? Or we're not expected, or we didn't know that we're supposed to. Some are still yet to join. Well, it's time already now. Uh, I'm sure I've dropped we are live, and I'm sure other people are aware. We can't wait. We'll go ahead, but I just need to confirm that we're on the same page, right? Because on the purpose of this bootcamp, if you notice that on the README it has a step-by-step arrangement of everything we're expected to do at each point. So that way, there's clarity that at the point when you've completed one, that's it, a build up to the next, right? So there are some things I'll be doing and showing that I already expect that you know already. So I'll probably not speak on that, right? So much because I think you know them already. So that's why I'm asking and confirming that we have done these things. Well, notwithstanding, would progress to what we have today. We'll continue off what we did last week. And if you look at our outline for today, the goal is model 2.1 first, is data tests, right? At this point, I believe you already understand what a ref function is. You understand how to run dbt commands like the run command or build command. You understand the source function. You understand source freshness. You understand dbt debug to check your connection, dbt run. You understand how to um, work with your dbt project or YAML file and folders within dbt projects. You understand how to configure your profiles or YAML file. If you understand that, can I get the confirmation that yes, we understand, or yes, we don't understand, or no, we don't understand? Documentation is on the repo. The repo has been shared from the beginning, time memorial, right? So everything is on that repo we would need. So you bring your hand is up, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to mention that some things were not, maybe because of too much questions last class, I think. Some things were not like explicitly explained according to the document we have on the GitHub, right? Unless we just had to go and read it ourselves. But I just want you to, I would just be glad if you could just um run through some concepts. Um, sorry.
Okay.
Number one is source freshness. So other things in my own understanding, I mean, from last class was explained, but source freshness checks, yes, I read something about it, but I would just like maybe a more expert explanation
Okay.
on source freshness, building complex staging. Yes, I think that's basically it. Then also
Ref command.
naming convention. Sorry?
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm just taking note of it here.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. Then understanding refs. Yes, to an extent, I think I can run it, but I've not had like an expert explanation of the ref. I know of the source, like I know we did source, we referenced like the source, where we did source all lists and we mentioned the particular table to reference. But this ref, so when do we use it? Do we use it only for models now? And also very importantly, difference between DBT run and DBT build.
Okay.
And just to add upon that, the compile. Okay, I think I know what compile is, but I think I just want something a bit more elaborate, basically. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Benga. I think this should cover everything for everybody. So first off, I'm just gonna get the attendance sheet, the attendance link rather, and drop it on the group right now. Any of the volunteers on the call? Okay. Just give me a second. Let me get the link to the attendance sheets. So we'll fill one like right now, and then the other one after the towards the end of the class. Okay, so let's begin to answer these questions one by one. Okay, source function. Let me open. So before I talk about source function, let me just clarify something. So I noticed on the questions on the group, I noticed some of us were pulling the data with CSV file into our data warehouse on Google or Snowflake and different stuff like that, right? I just want to just confirm to you or let you know that we use DBT seeds, right? But however, DBT seed is not used for data extraction, data loading as it were. It's just for, as the name implies, it's a seed file or a seed folder that allows you to load static files or static data into a data warehouse. So typical use cases of seed would be, let's say, a reference file. Let's say you have codes on your sales products. They have codes, and these codes don't change, right? So, or country code, like they don't change. So you just load it using the CSV file, using your CSV file on dbtc, and it goes to the data warehouse, and that way dbt can reference that file or that model using the ref function, right? So that's really how we use dbt seeds. But for us, we didn't want to start bringing in, extracting data, loading to the warehouse. That's why we use DBT seed for that whole process, right? So just to clarify that whole thing. So you don't, in real world, you don't start using DBT seed to bring in changing data. It's just for static data that we don't use frequently. Okay, so that being said, source function. Source function, when I compile it, so I'm using all these
Sorry,
things.
excuse me, David.
Okay.
What I mentioned is source freshness. I think is it freshness now?
Okay,
I
yes.
think. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think.
I would talk about the source freshness and the source function. Okay, so this, if you look at this guy, you see select star from source only customer. So this source function and ref functions are what DBT uses within the DBT ecosystem or DBT project. And the reason for that is one of the reasons for that is understanding lineage. One of the benefits of using DBT is data lineage. How does DBT able to track table lineage? Is using the ref function and the source function. So when you build a table using its source function, DBT can tell that, oh, this table is coming from this particular source, right? And if you build another table with the ref function that is referencing another existing table, an already existing table, DBT can tell that that table is coming from the table you are referencing. And to understand what's going on, I'm going to compile this. And now you see what DBT compile does. DBT compile just basically puts shows you the SQL that DBT is running. Because at the end of the day, DBT is just running SQL against your data warehouse. It's not touching your data, it's just running SQL against the data warehouse. So it compiles your Ginger, it compiles your DBT code in quotes you've written on your DBT project and compiles that to normal SQL. If you raise up your hand or put in chat and I don't see it, you could just quickly say something so I don't miss that. So if I compile this right now, this select star from source all these customers, we would see what this compiles to. You see, this compiles to select star from warehouse stage dot dbt dev dot customers. That means that this source data is in this dbt dev schema. So the same way you would have just basically written on Snowflake, select star from what's it called? From this warehouse, this schema, this table, you use the source function instead. And so dbt compiles it to this. So essentially what your dbt compile does is that compiles your dbt query into normal SQL. And as we go further, we'll be using compile often, and so you see what that looks like more often. And then I've talked about the source function and the ref function. For the source freshness, so let me open the source file.
Question, David.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to confirm that before we can use the source function,
Mhm.
we must have already created a sources.yaml file. Is that correct?
Very correct. Very correct. Your source function builds up your sources.yaml file. All right. It
Okay,
builds
so what
up.
about the ref function now? I know both of them are referencing something.
Yes. So your source function builds off your source file, and your ref function builds off an existing model. So if I build another model that is referencing stage customers, I'll be referencing stage customers using the ref function. So
Okay.
if we look at the lineage here now, you can see this is the source, who lists customers, and then this table is my staging customers. If I build a new table called, let's say, intermediate customers, of these stage customers, the lineage would be ref. I'll be referencing stage customers. But as we proceed, you see, I will do that, and you see that, right? So, that's fine. But that just to answer the question, the ref function would reference already existing models. Your source function would reference the first time those models are coming into DBT from the source, from where you've defined your source. So this source of YAML file is just a place where we define the source. We define our source name as OList. We say that this source exists in database called warehouse of staging. We say that the schema you find this source is dbt dev, and we describe the source. And then we say these are the tables available in this schema. So anytime I want to reference this source OList, we'll use the name OList and the name of the table. So the source function takes two parameters, the name of the source you have defined and the name of the table for that. And your ref function takes one parameter, which is the table name or the model name. Sounds good.
Yes, understood, understood. A question came to my mind again. Sorry, so sorry. Also inside the sources.yaml file, I think I saw some
Okay.
files, I don't know, maybe projects of which beyond the name, they also went ahead to declare the columns. I don't know.
Yes, yes,
In
yes.
what situation do we have to do that again?
The table name and the columns. So ideally, I wouldn't put my columns in my source function. I'll put my columns in my model. Sorry, not in my source file, but in my model.yaml file. So we'll talk about documentation in here, and so that's one of the things we'll talk about. Yeah. So we'll talk about that today.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Send about difference between, okay, I've not talked about source freshness. So source freshness as I came here. So looking at this now, let's see our other items table. Let's explore one of these table. I've not opened any of these tables since we ever did this. So we are going to explore this together and do this together. I could just even preview. Hmm, I want to preview this data. Okay. Other items has shipping limit dates, but does not have other dates. So let me check others table. Others table has order purchase timestamp, order approved timestamp, customer dates, order estimated delivery dates. Okay. So let's say in your sales business, you expect that there should be order every day. Let's say you know your business, I know that there should be order every day. Source freshness basically is saying that I want to add a test within my source to let me know if my source is fresh. What does that mean? Is my data coming as expected? Is my data extraction pipeline failed? But the last time I got data, was it 2 days ago or 3 days ago? If so, how can I put a source freshness check so that whenever my source data is stale, I would get an alert, my test will fail. And I know that, oh, my source data is late, is still by 2 days. No fresh data has come in since 2 days. In other words, has been, my last order date is, let's say 3 days ago or 4 days ago. Or if you're doing it like a proper extraction and loading, you have a load time. So my last load date is 2 days ago. So basically that's what source freshness does. So if we just come here, so we'll be going into the documentation a lot because I want us to get familiar with the documentation and being able to go there as frequently as possible because that is where you find all the answers. Uh-huh. This is for deploy freshness. This is what I want. Yeah. So in your sources.yml file, you can declare your source freshness on dbt project YAML file on the source. And we can also declare in the sources.yml file. Yes, this. So if I take this block, this config block, as it is now, and I bring that in here under my source name or anywhere basically, but I'm putting this config under the source, right? I'm saying for this source, this config, I'm checking for freshness, error after 2 hours, and I need the field. So if I put it on the source, it's going to check for all the dates where there's like a loaded at by default on Snowflake, but there's no loaded at on this table. So I may want to instead put this on a table instead. So if I put this on the orders table and then move this like this, okay, trying to get this 1, 2, yep, loaded at field, loaded at field. Da-da-da. Okay, loaded at field. This is what I need. So notice that DBT by default uses loaded at field because it's expecting that you use your loaded at field. So if you're doing an extraction and loading, you would have like a loaded at field. So for us now, we are going to use the order purchase timestamp. Orders purchase timestamp. So let's see.
I think the order is singular, not plural. I don't know if it matters, but
Okay, yes, it matters. Thank you. It does matter. It, it does matter. So
not do like this.
is someone saying something? Is someone saying something? No. Okay, so then what command do you run? We run dbt source freshness command to check for freshness. So let us run that and see what happens. So yeah, we're saying give an error if this field is late by 2 hours. Um, you can use D, you can use, I'm sure you can use D, all right? Let's just see what happens. Here, dbt source freshness. Since we only have only one test, it is going to run that or it's going to fail, all things being equal. So you see, it does this test on orders and it failed. And if we come to our orders table, you can see the result, error still. Because if we check the max dates, select max order purchase timestamp from Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, yes, makes sense.
So if we brought all these, for example, using Fivetran, that all of them have a loaded add field, we can put this source freshness test, this config block on the whole source. So to check all the whole models. But all the whole tables, right? But all these tables don't have timestamp field. Some of them don't have, all of them don't have a loaded add field. But I'm using others because it has an other timestamp, right? If we put this on the kini, what's it called? On the model, on the source level, rather, what will this look like? Let us see. So let me take this out. Since there's no loaded add field, right? Let's just run this and see. So essentially, you can put in source freshness on your sources and check your sources. So let's see how this would feel and what are the errors it's going to give to us, if any. But typically, you get two errors: success, one, or fail. So everything failed. As we can see, you can see so for this one there's error because we didn't even is expecting a field, and since it didn't find any timestamp and loaded as field, everything is just still. But most times, if your loaded add field name is not explicit, you may want to define that loaded add field. But in this case, everything just goes as still. And for your source freshness, you can have two options: to one or to give an error. So you can say give a warning if it's within 24 hours, fail if it's 48 hours. That's the big thing. Okay, that is for source freshness. Difference in DBT run and DBT build. Um, DBT run runs your, let me take this out. DBT run runs your models. DBT build runs your models, your seeds, snapshots your snapshots, and test your tests. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that means DBT run is like part of DBT build. So
Correct.
DBT build does DBT run and more.
Correct. DBT run just runs the model, but DBT run just runs the model, but DBT build can run the model, can run your seeds, will seed your seed file, will snapshot your snapshot models, will test your tests all in
So
one.
my question is now that, so what case scenario would that, because sometimes I'm like, which one do I run? I know DBT run is like the default every time, but
Mhm.
when do I now know that, okay, I think I need to do DBT build? For example, if a particular model requires that, okay, maybe it requires like a seed or something, so does that mean that DBT run, because it doesn't run seeds, does it give me an error? Or what case scenario would I have to use build and not run?
Yes. So the idea for build is that build would make your life build will follow the actual order of events. So DBT build would run seed first. Let's say you're on your whole DBT project, like your DBT project. You are running one do deployment, I think next week. On your whole DBT project, if you do DBT build on a DBT project, DBT will first of all run the seeds in that project, run the snapshots in that project, run the models in that project before it now runs the test in that project. However, if you do DBT run in your production alone and you have seeds, your seed will not run. So you on your own, you would have to follow the actual order of commands on your deployment environment so that you have DBT seed first, then DBT snapshot, and then DBT run, and then DBT test. Within development, it does not really um if I'm running DBT build on development on this model, for example, what will just happen is that it's going to run this model and run any test associated with this model, right? There's no seed as it were associated to this model because remember we are not referencing files. We are we are using them as source
I
code.
can see the catalog.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay.
I think some people need to mute
Sorry, can you help
themselves.
us mute? Sorry, Tosin.
Yes, thank you. Another person mute for us, please.
Okay, David, sorry, I have a question. I was raising my hands before.
Okay.
Yeah, there was when you did your test on that purchase on that order by purchase stamp. So an
Yeah.
error came up. So I don't know how do you solve the errors. I really don't understand that aspect.
Okay,
The error that came up.
yeah. So my goal is not to solve the error. It's the error is just a flag for me, telling me that my source is still. Have you been in situations where you're working in pipeline, you're building reports, and the stakeholder tells you that these reports, the last time data came in was 3 days ago. Have you had that scenario?
Yes, please. I have.
Exactly. So how can you tell if your data is still before it gets downstream? From the source. The best place to check that is from the source. And that's where DBT
Okay.
source freshness comes in. So you can put this DBT source freshness on your source tables or your source
Mm-hmm.
files, and then put the parameter that says if my loaded add field is 24 hours ago, give me a warning flag where my DBT project is running.
Oh, okay.
If it is 48 hours ago, fail my DBT run should fail.
So failed. Okay.
So once I've seen it fail to call my attention, and I realize that oh my project has failed. Why did it fail? Oh my source is delayed by 48 hours. So I'll have to go and check my ETL pipeline and find out what's going on. So my data can come in. So solving this is you going to your ETL pipeline to figure out why data is stale and bringing in fresh data into your stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Oh, sure. It does. It does.
All right. So far so good, everyone. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please let's endeavor to do our work, our take-home assignment. It will help us. Okay, so today we are going to test. Like I said, I'll be using lots of documentation a lot. So let's go there. Let's go there. Okay, so what are DBT tests? DBT tests are sessions that make are sessions you make about your models and other sources in your DBT projects. For example, sources, seeds, and snapshots. When you run DBT test, DBT will tell you if each test in your project passes or fails. You can use data tests to improve the integrity of the SQL in each model by making assertions about the result generated, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Essentially, DBT tests are a way to check for data.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry. I think you are too fast. I don't know if it's only me. You are too fast. Please, can you bring it down?
Okay, sorry. Am I too fast, other people?
I don't
I,
think so, but we have different learners, so
Okay,
just to accommodate.
okay. If I am, I will slow down. If I go fast, let me
you
know.
can still move like a bit past. You can just check through the recording instead of not covering some aspects
Yes,
of
I'm
the.
trying to cover. That's why, but I'll try to be.
Um,
Okay,
I
so
also want to say something.
okay.
Please, what are some of us that are facing like some challenges along the way?
So challenges like what?
Okay, for me, like I've done the normal stuff. The Snowflake test, my data is there, and the DBT. But okay, since you are talking about DBT test, so all the when I run the DBT test, it's failing, and I don't know why. And also, yeah, those are the challenge I'm facing right now.
Okay. As we're proceeding, I'm sure to answer some of your questions. Now, if your test is failing, it means that something is wrong in your model. Your test, as the name implies, is just testing to see that everything you expect is working as expected. So if I build a model, and in my mind, I expect that my model should be unique on my unique records. That's in my mind. So if I want to now really validate, I put a test and I check that DBT, check that all my unique fields on this model are actually unique. And DBT test does that for me. So if it fails, it means that something that my test has failed. So I have to go and fix my model so my test would pass. So if my uniqueness test fails on a particular model, it means I have to go back and check what's going on in my model, in my drawings or whatever, and fix that so that my test would succeed. So your test is failing is just giving you a flag, it's an indicator that you should fix what is going on. So essentially, remember, if you take note of this now, it says data tests. But here we have okay, data test we have here, yeah, data test. There are two types of tests right now in DBT, data test and unit tests. But we'll just focus on data test, right? Because data test is actually testing the data, that the assertions you are making about your data are valid. So if I make an assertion that every order in my data should have every order, the value of every order in my orders table should be greater than 0. That's an assertion of my data. Now I can set the data test to validate that. And if it fails, then I know that it fails. Now we use this every time in business. So for example, you're working with data and your clients, let's say sales sales, for example, let's say your business in your particular business line, sales can never be negative, and all of a sudden you have a data value showing negative sales. You know that something is wrong somewhere. So that data test basically just helps you to see wherever you find negative sales in this data, flag it for me and I will fix it. That's what it is. So note here it says data tests are now called data tests to disambiguate from units test. So quickly, DBT comes out of the box with two kinds of tests: singular data test and generic data test. Um, Generic data tests are parameterized query that accepts arguments, right? And you can apply this to different models and different columns and all that. And DBT comes with some generic text out of the box as well. These tests are not null tests, unique tests, not null, accepted value, and relationships. Most times, most of the tests I would use in real life is just uniqueness and not null. Most times, 90% of the time. Just few times do I get to add other tests or other custom tests, right? Depending on the use case. But most of the time, the tests you would need to validate things are uniqueness and not null, because they are important. For example, if you are duplicating your data records and you're over reporting, or they are missing record, you're underreporting, it can cause great issues, right? So these are small things that have big impact, and that's why they may be small. Uniqueness tests on your table may be small, but it has an impact in validating the quality of your reports you're providing to your business. Okay. So like I said, out of the box, CBT comes with four kinds of tests: uniqueness, not null, and accepted value. Now, if you take a look at this models.yaml file, at this models.yaml file here, you can see that there is a data test, unique and not null in this, and we're going to apply this on our model. So let us use stage orders, because my expectation is that an order ID should be unique in stage orders. True or false? True or false?
True, sir.
True.
True.
So what do? I'm going to open my stage orders.yaml file. Last week, or you may have mentioned, but I know you didn't create all of them, because it's what we're going to talk about today. You notice that I have a stage orders.sql file, which is my model file, and I have a underscore stage underscore orders.yaml file, which I would call my documentation file for stage orders model. In other words, every information about stage orders file, about stage orders model, I will find it in stage orders.yaml file. If I want to create tests for stage orders model, I will create those tests in stage orders.yaml file. So if I come to stage orders.yaml file, I already have order ID here as a field. I already have data test here already, so I can just add not null in here. Not null, not underscore null. Yeah. So I'm going to save this. I can run this in different ways. Because I'm using DBT Cloud, if I run test model, it will do DBT tests. Yeah, so it's testing that those fields are not null and they are unique. And which field is testing for the other ID, and the test succeeded. So if we scroll down, if we open this, we can see the queries that DBT is running. If you come into details, this is the query that DBT is running. DBT is counting, is bringing my order ID, count of star from my table where order ID is not null, grouping by order ID, having count star greater than 1. This is how we essentially check for duplicates, true or false, right? So DBT ran this query and the result was 0. And that's why DBT says succeeded. So if I bring this query to Snowflake, and run this query, this compiled query, you see it's 0, and that's why DBT says succeeded. If we check the not null query that DBT ran, you see DBT just said select order ID from this table where order ID is null, and the result is nothing is null, right? So that's really your testing. So let's say I wanted to do accepted values. I noticed that in my orders table there's this field called order status. I don't know what the status is there. So let me see. Let's do select distinct order status from this guy. So want to do the accepted values test. On my more true, I'll just take 3. So I want to add accepted values in here. Close this guy. In here. So how do we do that? Let me come in here. Accepted values. Da, 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 da. Okay. And these are the values. So let me take 4. This 4. Delivered, unavailable. I hope I'm not too fast. Cancelled and created. Don't forget to fill in the attendance sheet, please. So I'm going to run DBT test again. So if you're using DBT core, and you can't just come here and click on tests, I do DBT test here, and it's going to run including accepted values now. So you can see there's no accepted value, and this fails. Can you see this fails? Does anybody know why this failed?
Because we didn't copy all of the unique values. We only copied 4 of them.
Exactly, beautiful. So let's go and find out more. So you can see the error. It says 1 of 3 fail. 99,000 accepted values. 99,000 records are not in the accepted values. So if I go to my details, let's see what Snowflake is running, what DBT is running. DBT is saying it's selecting everything from here, and then it's saying from all values, give me select star from all values where value field not in delivered, unavailable, cancelled. And then, like, we have about 4 other more that are not there, and that's why it failed. So in other words, it's saying that I have other statuses that exist in the model, in the data, that is not your accepted value. So 2 things are involved. I either fix my data or I fix my accepted value. Now in this case, my accepted values test. Now in this case, we know that our data is okay, so we can just fix our accepted values tests, and that should fix everything. So that person that says, how do you fix your test? This is how you fix your test. Your data test is essentially telling you something about your data. So you fix your data or you fix your tests. The attendance form link is on the group, is on Zoom. Okay, maybe you joined the call late. I can reshare it again on the chat. Are we on the same page? Hi everybody, are we on the same page?
Yes, we are.
I mean, these are things I
Yes,
would
sir.
normally in SQL would just, I mean, I would just do some small SQL queries just to confirm these things. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. So now with DBT, you can do this on the fly. Whenever a DBT project is running every day, the test is checked every day. So you don't have to check it every day. So even a particular day, let's say so the engineer is doing the data snoop, this data on the software, trying to go and do one nonsense, and the thing came in, you will flag it before it goes downstream, right? So that's why where test is powerful. Yes, those engineers can be very interesting. They don't tell you anything, they just make changes. You'll just be seeing things that you don't know where they're coming from. Okay, so notice since I've been doing this test, I have been running DBT tests. But now I want to run build. So I'm going to click on build. Because like I said, build will run the model and test the tests. If there are seeds, it will run the seeds. If there are snapshots, it will run the snapshots. So let's see this in action. DBT build failed. What happened? Oh my God. If you click this button here, you will see what happened. So you can see the summary. I have four models. It ran four things. Number one, it ran my model, which is my DBT run. It ran the model, right? And then when I say DBT run the model, what DBT actually doing is that it's creating that table, that your SQL as an object in the data warehouse, either as a view or as a table or as a incremental table. Yeah, that's what it's doing. So if you scroll down here, you can see the query here is create or replace view, warehouse stage, I blah blah blah, staging orders as select with this and then select my query. In other words, this query I have in here, DBT just building that object on my data warehouse. I've given DBT the permission and say, hey, this is the query, use this query and build this object on my data warehouse, either as a view or as a table based on what I've told DBT to do. That is, I'm just trying to tell you that when you say DBT run or DBT build, what it's actually doing is that it's creating the table on your data warehouse. Nothing really big. And so we see our not test passed, our oh God, our uniqueness test passes, but our accepted value failed. I don't know why it failed, but I think I've put in everything. Well, anyhow, sure, it failed. Notice that the whole pipeline failed. So in the same vein, if there is a test that fails in your pipeline, the whole pipeline will fail so that you can come and fix it. Except you specify that the severity should be 1, because you can change the severity to be 1. So let's do this comma here. If I say severity, I hope this is where it is. Let's see. Let's see. Let us see. Let us see what is going to happen. Is running. The cat is running. The cat is running.
So
DBT
how is it?
succeeded.
Why was it still failing when after you added the other one?
Two things are involved. Is either I did not save it or I made a mistake when adding it, or that's what it is, sha. But however, what did I do right now? I changed the severity to 1 and now it says field. Notice that this is now warning. The pipeline will not fail. We can see a warning because I said that okay, if this test fails, don't fail my pipeline, just give me a warning. Now there are several DBT DBT resources like this. There are several parameters or functions you can apply. One of the functions is severity, right? To tell you that whether to come as a 1 or as a fail, or as an error rather. Yeah, I don't have the time to check why this thing did not fail, but I can tell that the reason why it did not fail or why it failed is that I made a mistake somewhere here. That is what it is. Well, I don't have time to look for that mistake right now. So far, so good. We have taken this. Okay, relationship test. Relationship test is essentially just checking for relationships. How many of us are in relationship here? DBT will check that you are in a relationship. The relationship is working well. It will check that if you see that each if you check that so if I say that every order should have a customer ID, I can create referential test, a referential integrity test based on identity, based on relationships rather, that says every order should have a customer ID. Yeah, I don't use that often. I don't think I've ever used that in real life. But depending on use case, you can use it. And then there are more tests in the bucket actually. And so all these I just said now was the generic tests, right? Just excuse me, please. I want to get a cup of water. So it's interesting. We have 37 people. We had over 150 people register. No, 160 people register. And I told the team that sorry, thank you. Yes, in Shagaga. Yeah, I was telling the team that they should not worry. I know if I get to the end of the 4 weeks, some people will drop off. So if I say 30, how do they check percentage again now? 36 divided by 160. No, I'm wrong. That should be 160 minus 36, 124 divided by 160. 77% churn. So as a business person, know that all the users that sign up, probably 77 will eventually buy. Don't be excited when they sign up. So all we've talked about so far is generic tests. So let's talk about singular tests. What is singular test? Singular test is that I have this great data. My data is very custom, and I have a use case that is not in DBT. My use case is very, very custom. I want to create a test for it. Notice, who can tell me what they notice about the queries that DBT is running for each of these tests? Let me go back to this and show you something again. Notice that for the not null test, the test is called not null. DBT is checking for records that are null. For unique tests, DBT is checking for records that are not unique. What pattern can you see in DBT testing framework?
Like a reverse psychology sort of.
God bless you. So essentially, if you accept that your data should be 1 plus 1 equal to 2, DBT will check for where 1 plus 1 is not equal to 2. In other words, if you're doing a singular test, right? If you're doing a singular test and you have a custom logic that says that every customer that made a purchase will stay in your bucket for 7 days, right? Then your custom test or your singular test would be checking that we'll be checking what's that thing again? We'll be checking customers who did not drop off that 7 days. So let's see a simple example. A simple example here we have is that we want to assert that total payment amount is positive. So if I just copy this guy, I'm going to create my singular test in my test folder. Notice all these things we did was in our models folder. But however, DBT has a test folder. So I can create my test there, right? And I can create this file. I'm going to call this file assets. How do you spell assets? Assets positive order value dot SQL. Kilo Shale. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just copy this here. So I have my order ID. So I want to reference, now let's do this together. I want to create a test that asserts that my order value is positive all the time. Which table am I going to reference this test on? Talk to me, somebody talk to me.
What does now?
Thank you. So will I use my ref function or my stage or my source function?
Us.
Huh?
Wait, oh, why should it be source? We have the staging already now.
Correct. God bless you.
So
So
yeah.
I'm referencing the staging model, right? So stage orders, right? So basically, I'm saying my order ID some amount. Is there any field called amount? Let me find out what the field is called. This order table does not have value. Sure, you want me? Okay, so let's walk. Let's walk. Do you wanna work,
Test
work,
factor.
work, work? Do you wanna work, 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 work? Let's check other items. Okay, there's other payments. Okay, so there's other payments table, and there's other ID, there's payment value. So we're gonna use other payments. So our tests would be, where's that guy? We'll be referencing stage order payments. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then the value for that, the field for that is payment value. Some payments. Do you want to work, 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 work? So we are asserting that my table should be positive. My kilo query. Now my order value should be positive. So, but my test is now doing the opposite. I am summing my payment value for every order ID, and I'm filtering for where the total amount or where the payment value is less than 0. So if I have any records where this exists, then my test will fail. Let us go and find out. So again, another question to ask you, my beloved brethren in the Lord. If I want
Sorry,
to,
David, before you ask a question,
yes, sir.
this is the what's it called now? This test, this SQL script.
Mhm.
Please, where's the location? I think I missed that
The
place.
location is in our tests folder.
Oh, okay, okay.
We are doing this in our tests folder. Are you there?
So, and is this all we need to do? Do we need to configure any other thing, any other place?
No. So that's the idea. For your generic tests, you probably just do that on your YAML file, all right? But for your singular test that is particular to just one model, you have to do that in your test folder. Are you there? So you write that your reverse query in your test folder. So now I want to test this guy now. Should I run DBT tests here? Or should I run DBT test on stage orders? Or should I run DBT test on stage order payments? Or should I run DBT build on which model should I run? Or which models or which commands can I run that would test these tests? Speak now or forever remain silent.
I think DBT test would do and DBT build would do as well.
Okay, DBT build on where? Now we're in development.
On the stage order payment. DBT build on the model we are referencing. That's the stage order payments.
Okay, correct. Actually, very correct. So if I run build here, let me see what will happen. I don't know. It's like it will run here. Let us see, let us see. Yes, it ran here. So just the test run. Now, if I come to stage order payments, and run DBT build here, more time has gone. We have to move forward. I have to finish this test now, now, now. I'm leaving tests right away. Da, 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 da. It runs here as well. But the difference you will now see is that this will run both the model and the tests. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay,
that means
Sorry,
that
on that
okay, sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, sorry, on that query, um, I want to see the test again. I know that's not really what matters, but this is testing for the whole. So if, for instance, I have four transactions attached to another ID in
Mm,
the other payment, it will
mm,
not really flag. This query will not flag if one of those records is negative. It's just
correct,
checking the aggregate of the four of them.
correct. So let's if your payment value is dependent on more than one table, you may want to create a join, right? You can do a join in your test. Do a joining transactions and orders, so you can have a central order value coming from one place. So even to do
Then
it,
can I
you can do a join.
okay. Then can I run test on say a seed file or on a view?
You can run tests on views. All these are staging models, and staging models are typically materialized as views. DBT recommends that we materialize them as views because we want them to always be fresh, even though they are want them to be always fresh. Like they are not tables. They're those views that always be queried whenever we need to use them, right? And do we put tests on seeds? No. The idea of seeds is that you don't will you put a test on a currency code like Nigeria, NGN, America, USA, that kind of thing. We don't need a test on that, right? That doesn't change, right? So you would not need, so if you're using seeds as it should be used, you don't need a test on seeds. So that's why I said what I said the first time. The way we've used seeds is just for us to, we don't have strength to be extracting and loading data through whatever to into our ETL. And we want you to also easily have data. So that's why we put it on seed and we run DBT seeds, it goes into data warehouse, we start working. But in the real world, you don't load in your production data using seeds. Seeds are just for reference data. So quickly, I'm going to jump into packages. Um, DBT packages. DBT packages. What are DBT packages? DBT packages are DBT projects that somebody created somewhere. I don't know him. He does not know me, but he's a DBT expert. He has created a project, and his project is meaningful to the whole world. And it says, "Hey guys, I've done this thing. Oh, I'm going to build it as a package. So you all come and copy it and use it within your project." In Python, there's a name for this. What is this called in Python?
So library.
Libraries.
God bless you, library. Do I know who created all the pandas library? I don't know him, but I use it. Is it my business? Is it my friend? No, but it saves my life, right? The same for these DBT packages. I don't know them. Um, but they are done things that you probably need to do in the future. So you leverage it. You get their packages, put it into your project, and leverage it. The packages are DBT projects that they have built that can be formatted into your that you can leverage within your own use case, right? So there's a package hub, DBT package hub. This is where it is. The website is hub.dbt.com, or you could just search DBT package on your website, on your browser, on your Google. You're gonna have this. So these are community packages. These are code gen. I'm going to use most of these packages. I like using packages because they're faster. You not like they are faster because they are faster. They are faster because instead of doing it one by one, I can just leverage somebody's packages and do it. You would see me using some of these packages as we proceed. Most of the favorite of often these are most of the frequently used packages. TBT utils, like name implies, utility is your utility package for almost anything. Code generator to generate code on your project. DBT validator to validate your projects. DBT expectation for tests. Right now, I'm going to show us expectations and utils. You can, on your own, read through, play with them. If you scroll through, you can see the people and the packages that they've created. Um, different stuff. People are doing cool stuff. They're solving their problems, right? Um, yeah, you can check it out later. But right now, I want to talk about DBT utils. But from a testing standpoint, yeah. Okay, so how do you install packages? You install packages using, first of all, you bring them into your packages.yaml file. So in this case, we already have utils here. And let me check whether we have the latest version here. Yes, we have, okay, this is 1.3.2. We have 1.3.0. I'll just change this to 1.3.2 in here and save. God bless you, Benga DBT devs. We install our DBT, we install our, Kini, what's that thing called? Our packages using DBT devs. DBT depths means dependencies. So do I have dependencies on this project I want to install? I run DBT test and DBT depths rather, and DBT depths installs these packages inside my projects. Capish, capish. So these are the logs. Installed metaplane DBT expectation, installed DBT utils, installed codegen, installed DBT external tables, and everybody is happy. So how then do we use this? Again, I'll go to documentation. I will not stress my head. So if I go to documentation, you can see that utils has a generic test stuff. It has the macros. He has a lot of things. He has spine generator, SQL generators for date spine. It has a group by utils function. Let's say you want to group by, you have like 10 columns. I want to group by 10. Instead of writing column 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use DBT group by and just DBT utils group by. It's a very short statement. You can group by everything. It has a lot of things. You can just check it out. But right now, we'll be using the tests. So let us check this expression is true tests. So what does this test do? Let's find out. I don't know. It says it assesses that a valid SQL expression is true for all records. It's useful when checking integrity across columns. Verify an outcome based on application of this one. I don't have example use case. Let me see. Okay. What will I test for this guy now? What will I test for this guy? Verify an outcome based on the application of. Okay.
Does this sound like, as opposed to the reverse psychology, this one is actually um, testing the truth here. So if I want to test if it's empty, I have to actually put that it's empty rather than putting that it's not empty.
Correct. Yes, correct. Correct. You're correct. You are correct. So I'm just trying to see if we have a use case in our data that we can use to test this quickly. Recency. Assess that timestamp column in the reference model contains data that later recent event. Okay, let's see. Let's check this recency. So I'm going to copy this guy and I'm going to bring it where will I put this test? If I want to check recency on my stage orders or my stage payment table, where will I put this test?
The generic tests.
God bless you. In my orders.yaml file. Oof, Lord have mercy. Okay, so let us see. 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 Let us. 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 Is this where this will be? Let me see. Okay. So I have to put in my test flag. Then bring this. Yeah. So the field of interest here is order purchase timestamp. Okay. And then we run. Oh no, I ran the wrong query. And I want to run stage orders. So I'm running stage orders. Let's see. It failed. Let's see what failed. How did it fail? It says this DBT utility recency failed. This other three passed. So let's see the error. The necessary value is a warning. Let's see what the error is. Let us see. Let us see. Let us see. Select count stars failure. With recency, I select the mass purchase date from this. And then as most recent, cast it at -1 as timestamp threshold from recency where most recent less than cast timestamp as timestamp. Yes. You understand, Abby? It's valid for you to fail, Abby. Do you
I
understand?
don't understand though.
Okay.
So it's checking that it has to be yesterday or something. Is that
Yes,
what I'm-
yes, you are correct. So it says he asserts that a timestamp column in the reference model contains data that is at least as recent as the defined date interval. So I'm saying that my data is as recent as 1 day ago. But in real life, my field is not as recent as 1 day ago. And that's why it failed. Does that make sense?
Yes. That like another way that's quite similar to the freshness stuff.
Yes, but now you have plenty options. Oh, and God bless you. Recency is on the source level. You can see. Recency test is for source level. All right, so you can see the source. I know it's like that source is not what it means. So it's for model, but it's similar to these are for models, not source. I don't know why that source is. What that source? Okay, that source is referring to the macro file. I'm doing that test. Yes. So similar to source freshness, but now on a model level, right? Okay, we've covered that. God bless you. God be with you. You can complete the rest later around tests. So let's talk about DBT documentation.
Sorry, David, a quick question on the different YAMLs. So we have like eight, in our case now, we have like eight models, and I can see we are creating different YAMLs for each of them.
Correct.
So I'm just thinking, won't things get quite messy because at the end of the day, we're having like 16 files, like eight models and it's equivalent eight YAML files for each of them. Is it possible to put everything in one?
My
That would,
brother.
that would be too much.
Okay, Babatunde, can you mute your mic? My brother, thank you so much for that question. That's a very wonderful question. Many years ago, in the land of myth and magic, there was a young boy, and his name was Melin. Don't mind me, sorry. Many years ago, when DVT started, all the YAML files were in one file called schema.yaml file. However, as people started using DVT, there are companies that have up to 1,000 models. Yeah. So scanning through one schema.yaml file for 1,000 models and test on those models became hellish. It can be hellish. And so this now brought up a new recommendation, which I found to be much more helpful and relevant, is that you have a YAML file for every model. And then that's why you notice that the way we name them is different. We have stage underscore, can you, what's that thing called? Stage underscore. We start with an underscore for the YAML files so that those YAML files are at the top and then the models are below. So in a real world, that will not really be a problem. It will not be problematic. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Let's play with Nasir Nare Kele. Documentation. Now, in the world of AI, where we are talking about AI, documentation is much more important right now. So that tomorrow you not go back to your parent and you're wondering why you did this and why you did that. So it's good practice to start providing your documentation because DBT allows you to view your documentation in one place. Good documentation for your DBT models will help downstream consumers discover and understand data sets you create for them. DBT provides a way to generate documentation for your DBT project and render it as a website. Yeah, so let us see. In your YAML file where you have your tests, it's the same way you put it. So this is the documentation for this model. Let's quickly do something. Let me see. Let's quickly do something. So, what do I want to do? I want to quickly generate the YAML file for all these models. And I noticed that some of these models are create select star, select star, select star. In your staging model, you don't want to select star because you want to probably do some renaming. You want to probably cast some data types that are not data types, that are not properly done, that may not be in their proper data types. Say, for example, in your data source, if a what's it called now? A field, a currency field, a value field comes in as a string, right? You want to cast that in your staging model. Basically, your staging folder is a place where you do some basic cleanup. No major transformation, just basic cleanup. Casting data types, removing duplicates if there are. What's that thing called? What's that thing called again? Tell me that thing. Tell me that thing. What's that thing called? I can't remember what. You know it so quickly. I want to use DBT utils.
The duplication.
Yes, this duplication. Quickly, I want to use DBT utils. No, DBT code gen to generate those codes quickly. So now I want to generate base model, right? So just watch me do this and have fun with me. I'm going to copy this one since I'm on cloud. I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a new tab. I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to say my source name is olists because that's what it is. And the table name I am interested in, let me go to my source. Let me start with customer. Yes, it's customers. So it's customers and it's materialized as a table. And so to generate the code for this, I don't run, I compile. DBT, this macro that DBT has created would give me the base model for this table. Yay, this is the base model. I will come here and I will copy and paste it. And we are good with my staging model. I don't think I want to rename any field, so I save this as is. So I have created my base model on my staging customers. Next, I want to use my YAML file for my staging customers, which you have already. So I will pass that. The next model I want to create is for my stage geolocation. And I will come in here. I don't want this as a table. So I don't want the materialization. I already have my materialization defined in my dbt project.yaml file in here, right? Now this should be staging. This should be staging here. As a view. Yeah, so I'm going to change this to geolocation. If you don't understand anything I'm doing at any point in time, just let me know. And I'm also going to compile this as well. All right. Anybody home? Anybody with us?
So I'm trying to get it perfectly. So what CodeGen does is just what we would normally do, like, you know, get create models from that points to the data source. But
Yeah.
now I'm seeing like is it renaming or it's just like doing select status.
Yes. So CodeGen has a couple of macros. One is generate source. Your source.yaml file. CodeGen can generate that source.yaml file for you. And that one generates your base models. CodeGen can generate your base model. Now, when you tell CodeGen base model, CodeGen knows that you are using DBT standard. And DBT standard for base model is that just select all the fields in my table and list out all my columns for me. So previously, I was explicitly having select star. But in this case, instead of just select star, I am seeing all the field name. Why is this important for us? This is important for us because if I want to have a consistent naming convention, I can do it here. So imagine I have customer ID called ID in customers table. I have customer ID now called customer ID in orders table. I have customer ID now called cost ID on other items table. Now in my staging table, I can name everything to be customer ID. So that's why CodeGen is helping me to just create this source, this base model. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. So for the code gen, when we are done, we'll compile it, abi?
Yes, I just pasted the CodeGen code for my base model. For base model, where is that base model? I just copied this code, pasted it in my DBT cloud, and then compiled. If you're using core, if you're using DBT core, you can just take this guy. You can copy this guy and run it on your DBT core, right? Generate it for you. So sometimes instead of going and be copying out table names one by one, you just save your life, save it from stress. So now I've generated the base model. Now I've generated the base model for my geolocation. Now I want the YAML file for my stage location. What do? I have to build this. It's already built already, I believe. So I have to come to this place and go to my generate model YAML file. And then I just copy this guy and I paste this guy under this guy. And in here, I write the model name. I want to generate the model YAML file for stage geolocation. So I put this as stage geolocation. Am I too fast? Is it making sense? Are you getting tips? And then I compile this. Okay, we're on the same page. We're on the same page, Abby. So it has giving me this. I just copy. When I copy, I create my file, my model name or my documentation name. So this will be stage dot geo location dot YAML. And then I create file. And then I save. So notice that it even gives me the data type number, the data type of the field, and then it's for it to now put description. So I can say this is whatever I like this to be. I can say I like using this arrow, this greater than sign, and then putting my description under. It just makes it cleaner for me. You can write your description here. This is the description, right? You can put that there, but I usually like using this is the latitude stuff. And then if I have any tests, I can also put my test here. So I'll just do for the rest of them right away. Stage other items. So table name will be other item. Alpha, talk to me, talk to me. Is there any question? Are you making sense? Are you progressing? Somebody talk to me. Or do you want music? You want to take a break?
I think I'm dozing off. But I just want to confirm. So code gen, in summary, just helps us to generate whatever code we want and just makes it faster,
Yes, that's all.
makes life easy.
That's all.
Yes.
That's all. Why so far in 2025? Answer me. Why? So I bring this in here and I compile as well. Yeah, just like, but not, it is not. Well, it is like, but it is not. So I'm also creating the, so you can see I've already created, if I was creating the models from scratch, I've already creating the models and YAML files. So documentation, in this way, you already have your YAML files for each of the models. As you're creating them, as you create the model, you create the YAML file, you paste it, you put your description, documentation is going on. No stress, no Lily, no issues at all. Life is sweet, life is sweet, life is sweet. Question while I'm doing this. So this is how I work
So,
DBT to make my life faster and easier.
so
Question.
for a lot of these stuff, I'm seeing version 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is not the first time I'm seeing something like that. So why version 2 always? I've not seen like a version 3 before, a version 1 or 1 point something.
My
It's
brother,
almost always that too.
my brother. That's how I've seen it from the beginning, so I'm not going to lie. I don't know the answer. Why does DBT YAML file have version 2? Declaration in DBT YAML file and start up syntax and blah blah blah. It's like it's a syntax, it's a YAML file syntax something declaration for that. I don't know what it is, but it's like this is what it is. Okay, somebody asked that question in 2002. Let's see the answers. Chidima, your hand is up.
Okay, yes. I wanted to ask that can we still use this cogen to run tests as well? To
No,
run our deep tests?
no, you can't run. You can just generate code
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah. To generate, sorry, to
Let's go
generate
complete
the
test
test.
for you. So look, I'm looking. So let's go back to documentation for CodeGen. What does CodeGen do? CodeGen can generate source file, can generate base model file, can create base models, can generate base model creation, can generate model YAML file, can generate model import CTs, can generate unit test templates. So you cannot do tests. You cannot do tests, right? You cannot do tests.
Sorry, I saw something like unit test template source.
Yes,
Is it a different one? Generate unit test template source.
yes. On the test, I said that there's unit test and DBT and data test. Unit test
Okay.
tests your logic on your SQL query. Data test tests your data. In this course, we may not likely not touch unit tests. Um, yeah. Okay.
Thank you, David.
You are welcome. My brother, I've not seen the answer you're looking for, but it's something to do with YAML. Okay, they say once upon a time, the structure of these YAML files was very different. Shout out to anyone who was in the back then. Adding version 2 allowed us to make structure more extensible. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, version 3 is coming soon. Okay. So, question answered, Abby.
Yes. Thank you.
You are welcome. Any other question while we're generating these files? So we are doing as we are doing documentation like this, because we need these files for the documentation, and so that's why we're generating these files. And so be asking question, let your questions come, let your questions come, let your questions come. Data test here. I know that this guy would be unique. I expect this guy to be not null. Other ID here will not be unique, so I'm going to do not because it's line item. A line item, another ID here can have multiple line items, correct? Correct. Correct.
Correct.
Nobody's saying anything. Am I the only one here now?
Correct.
Okay.
So is unit test the same thing as what you call singular test?
No, my brother, no, no, no. In this world, there are three kinds of tests. Okay, there are two kinds of tests in DBT. One is called data test, the other is called unit tests. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what do these two tests do? Data tests, like the name implies, tests your data. Are you there?
Yes.
Unit tests, as the name implies, just like developers use unit tests. Unit test checks the logic on your SQL on a small sample. Now, unit test has ended here, that ended here. However, if you go back to data test is now divided into two, singular test and generic tests. Generic test is where you have the test that you can use in multiple places for multiple models. That's your source fresh, no, That's your uniqueness, your not null, your accepted values, your relationship test, and other DBT utils tests you can pull from DBT utils. And then you now also have the singular test you create for one-off model based on that model uniqueness or model customness. Does that answer the question? Hey, Jesus, time have gone. Alpha, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So does that mean we can all create our models and the YAML files in a very easy manner, no stress? In 5 minutes, you are done. Because if we
Yeah.
were not talking, I can would have completed this in 5 minutes. Like, I can't talk and write at the same time. I'm not multi-talented. How did you see that thing? I'll be, how's that? What's that word say?
Versatile.
Not versatile, multitasking.
Multitasking.
My brain is just focused one direction.
Code gen all the way.
Okay. So there are other packages. You can just play around, find packages that if you have a problem you want to solve, search. There may be a package existing already. In this world, why do something that somebody else has done? Why, as they say, why reinvent the wheels? What's the difference between analysis engineer and data engineer? Somebody should answer the question for Joseph. Analysis engineer, somebody should help me while I'm typing. Can we see the question on the group? On the chat, rather.
Yes.
Yes, we can. I think a data engineer's job is, I like simply, not to drag long, a data engineer's job is more focused on ingesting the data into the data warehouse, and an analytics engineer's, like, it's not as simple as that, but an analytics engineer's job is more focused on now making the data that has been ingested into the source or into that has been ingested into the data warehouse useful for business use cases.
My brother, you are correct.
Yeah,
And
let me just add my own too.
yes, please add. Just keep adding, keep adding.
So data engineers, basically what they do is they build pipelines and infrastructure. But analytics engineer, they are the one that now model that data, and they transform that data for business use. So for data engineers now, their own focus is to move, to move data, raw data, especially coming from different places. Maybe it's a web application, maybe it's an API, maybe anywhere, to move that data, to store it. For example, data lake, data warehouse, anywhere, and make sure that it's well organized, right? And to make it available for people in the downstream, be it analytics engineer, data analyst, or whatever. So for data engineers, the typical work is they will build pipelines, be it ETL, ELT. They also manage the warehouses. They handle all the API, streaming, batch jobs, and all those things. So basically, but what analytics engineers do is that data that is now in the data warehouse, data lake and the like. So analytics engineers come in there, they turn it, they clean it up, right? And they transform the data, they use SQL, DBT like we are using, they build fact and dimension tables, all those things, document and everything, and align with the business, basically. Yep.
Tree boozer, tree boozer, tree boozer, tree boozer, tree boozer, tree boozer, tree boozer. Thank you very much. What would I have done without you? I'm creating our file, so please, so that you can. So basically, give it for anything. Yeah. Well, there's another question, guys. Answer, answer. Fire down, fire down, fire down, fire down. Who is firing down?
Yeah, I think basically, I think there is a place introducing DBT, mentioning that it's DBT is one of the tools that makes analytics engineering a thing or like a pronounced rule, so to say. So I think DBT is the bread and butter of an analytics engineer.
Hmm. God, God, God. See what? You guys should start your boot camp. Let me join you.
Mr. Jonathan, start your bootcamp. Let's join, please.
Let me come and learn, please. These are really great responses. Uh, there is this link that DBT shared one time. DBT engineer. Yes, you can read this. This is old but gold. This was the first. Okay, that's been updated again, but this is how, like you said, DBT is the thread and butter for analysis engineer. There are other tools out there. Google has their transformation tool. There are other tools out there actually. So, but is DBT is what it is.
Microsoft.
Yeah. Okay, Lord. So we are done with documentation like this. So any question on this? So after this, I'll just run this guy. We'll see what that documentation looks like, and then move on to the next one. Are we excited? Are we tired? Do we want to sleep? Do you want to go home? As they say, go hard or go home, go hard or go home, go hard or go home.
So basically creating YAML files for all the models.
Yes.
So there's no package that will just scan through all our models and just create it.
You can create the package. Yeah.
Well, I think okay, I think unless we use AI agent or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can, of course, it's 2025. Anything is possible, my brother.
I
And
actually used AI agent yesterday. It was very amazing.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. Can you give me a second, please? All right, guys, sorry. I am back. Yes, yes, there's that world. But I don't have that answer now, but I am sure that that probably does exist, so we can explore that. So I want to be able to run this and then show us what documentation looks like, and then we'll wrap off documentation. And the next thing, okay, we'll talk about DAGs as well. I think DAGs will be more rich when we talk about the oh Lord. I want to talk about the intermediate models. So we are almost there. One more to go. Stellas. We did it. 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 We did it.
So David, I'm saying like I want to confirm something.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about the medallion something architecture where we're talking so where I was hearing bronze, silver, gold.
Mhm.
And I think on DBT Labs, I think when I was going through this thing there tutorial, so I came across, just like you said, source, staging, and intermediates. At the point, there was like a disconnect for me. So, but now it's like the staging is what we are. So is it like staging is this bronze and silver because the changes, filtering, joins, and the likes, they said it cannot happen in the staging area. It has to happen in the intermediate, right?
Okay. Good.
Yeah, like so I just want to align this bronze, silver, gold with staging and intermediate levels.
Okay. Bronze, silver, gold is a medallion architecture, right? Essentially, it's the same concept with staging. It's the same concept with staging intermediate and math models, right? Conceptually, where staging is your bronze, intermediate is your silver, and gold is your math, right? Same concepts, but just different names. Basically, same concepts. In DBT, we don't use the name bronze, gold, and what's the other one? And bronze, gold,
Silver.
Silver.
and silver. We don't use those names. We use staging, intermediate, and maths. And the idea for staging is that, hey, your data is coming in as it is, you leave it as it is, but then you make some minor transformation, just very minor, maybe renaming a field, a column name. Like I said, if a column is course ID on one table, it's customer ID on another table, is now ID on another table. If you're going to be joining those tables downstream, maybe on int layout or math layer, you probably have to be putting an alias all the time at some point. So why not just change it in one place downstream and then move it up? One of the fundamental concepts of DBT is modularity, right? Don't repeat, work dry. Your model and code should be written in such a dry manner that you don't repeat yourself everywhere, right? You can work in such a way that you don't have to repeat yourself if you can do something in one place in the first layer and don't repeat it everywhere. So that is how that works. I don't know if that answers your question or if I did not get your question correctly, but essentially they are the same thing. Um, for best practice, you you limit transformation on your staging layer, and then on your intermediate layer, you now begin to do some joins like we'll do today, and then your math layer, you now begin to do some your reporting, actual for reporting. Every business or every user would have their own basic way they want to work around it. But most times it's best to follow this DBT structure best practice. And that's why I shared with you on the group on WhatsApp that link to read DBT, how we structure our projects. If you read that, that will give you a clear guide on how DBT recommends you structure your project. Because one of the goals of DBT is to ensure that your data warehouse is structurally organized, your models are organized. Anybody that comes in there can follow through, can mix into your data warehouse afterwards because DBT builds these models into your data warehouse. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So the last question on that is in the last class, somebody was also asking that this bronze, silver, and gold, does it translate to our data source? To are we going to see bronze, silver, and gold? And yeah, they said no, not necessarily. So, but in my own little this thing, I now saw that we can also actually how's it called? Configure the is it sources now? The I think it's the DBT project.yaml. Like configure it such that everything from each of those folders, staging, intermediate, and maths, whenever we run our DBT or we build it and it goes to the data source, it's also be created under separate um, folders. Okay, how do I, or in the case of BigQuery now, they separate the data sets now.
Okay,
So I don't know if you get what I mean.
I know what you're talking about. Next week we'll talk about that. Configuring custom schemas or target schemas, right? So
Okay.
we'll talk about that. That's part of the things for next week. Just a second. Let me include that. I was going to talk about it today, but there's no time. So configuring targets. Okay, this is where it is. I know you saw it somewhere. Yeah, it's next week. Custom schemas, right? Are we good? Are
Yes,
we good?
yes, yes.
So we'll talk about it next week on creating. Um, where am I? I saw custom somewhere. Sha is next week. Okay, so we are done. So if I do dbt build now, so we have just about few minutes left. We use these few minutes to work on it's not stages customer ID. Okay, this test looks like I changed the model. Customer ID. Let's see what's in here. So I think that should fix that. Okay, so I ran that, and if on DBT Cloud, you can see documentation here. If you just click on this, on DBT Docs, on DBT Core rather, you have to run DBT Doc generate to generate the documentation, and DBT Doc serve to serve that as this thing. My dear, strange things happen. No, you're asking me DBT case sensitive. Strange things happen. Sometimes you see some things. Sometimes you don't see those kind of things, but ideally it should not be. Maybe it's a snowflake thing, right? Because DBT is running your queries on Snowflake. So on one hand, you defined the model field as customer ID capital letter case, and the query is going to run for tests would have that capitalized. So it's not like a DBT. DBT is just running queries based on what you define there. Perhaps the Snowflake thing. I don't think I've experienced that on Snowflake before, but we learn every day.
And for particularly Postgres. I don't know for other one for
You said?
Postgres before. I said I experienced a similar thing on core, like for Postgres, DBT Postgres.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if that's actually the case, or it may be a different problem.
Yeah, because I have never experienced such thing before, so that's why me I was surprised that this thing can cause the error.
Yes, me too. I was surprised just actually. Yeah. So let us clear our surprise. Let us run this again. Now we've changed it and see what happens. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you.
So I'm running this stuff again. It still failed. That means that's not a problem. Please, water, please. Water, please. So that's not a problem. So what's our problem? People of God.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, oh, no. Something is failing. Everything. What did I run? Did I run DBT build or just on this model? Let me cancel this. Oga cancel. Let us see. Let us see. Okay. Preview looks good. So let us build this model and see. So one failed. Why is it failing? Let's check the query. Test not. This can happen. Let's see the compiled query. No compiled query. Compiled error in test is test not is undefined. This can happen when calling the market registry for typos or install packages. Okay. So let us go back here. Da, 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 da. Interesting. Do we have any other? Wait. Not stage customers. So this should be not null, and it's just saying not. Yeah,
I think it's not underscore null instead of not
Aha.
space null.
God bless you. So, my dear Chidima, thou art correct. So let's build one intermediate model. So I have my staging model set. Next week we'll talk about custom schema first, so that we can rearrange these models in the schemas we want them to be. Right now, everything is coming in. We would want our staging model. So we are imagining this is our source. We want our staging to come into transformations, and our reporting on maths to our staging and intermediate on transformation, and our maths into reporting database. So next week we'll do custom schema as well. For today, let's create one intermediate model. And so I'm going to create a folder called intermediate. How do they spell this?
Hey, how often do you run into errors with this DBT? Because within few days or few weeks now, I've run into like 1 million errors on this DBT.
My brother, such is life. It will not reduce.
It won't get better.
It will be better. You will just know how to debug. Well, don't mind me, you better, Sha. You know what you the more you get familiar with it, the more you know what you want to do, the more you know the things that will likely cause an error. And errors you'll be getting will be errors from your models, like your queries, your SQL codes, not necessarily DBT use. But it's going to be better. The more you use, the more it gets better. Okay. So I want to create an intermediate model. We'll call this model int O list order enriched. Like I said, I've not explored this data until today. We'll be doing it together. We'll solve our problems together. If we fail together. Are you with me? Somebody say, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So what is our goal here? Why is this guy slow now? Why are you slow? You're slow for my liking. Kilo. What's the purpose of intermediate model? Joseph, please. Are you on the group chat on WhatsApp? You see, that's why I drop these things for you two guys to read. Just read these things, and it will provide all the answers you need, better than I can answer you. So, to quickly answer the question, intermediate models is a layer where these molecules live. Those of us who are science students, I'm a science student, but I've not done science in a while. So if I'm wrong, remind me. Atoms are the smallest, and molecules are built on the atoms. In our DBT project, our staging layer are the atoms, where we clean up the atoms and put it in a very okay state. And the intermediate layer are the molecules, where we now begin to bring the molecules in different, we now begin to bring them together in ways that you may decide you want to do it. For us, for some businesses, they want to do their intermediate model based on sources. So let's say I have like 5 different sources. I'm bringing data from Shopify, HubSpot, NetSuite, Gbogbo, Oracle. I can have all my staging layer. I have a folder. So in my staging layer, I have OList, I have Shopify, I have Hotspot, I have all my sources there. Beautiful and fine. Now in my intermediate layer, all right, I will now also have that based on the sources as well. That's one way. Another way maybe say, maybe to say that okay, oh, different teams are using this data. There is finance, there is customer service, there is Gbogbo. You may want to now create your intermediate layer based on use cases, based on like end users use cases. So different ways. Essentially, intermediate is just where you begin to bring things like molecularly. Okay. Molecularly, Abi. Shall you get my grammar there? What's up with this thing now? So guys, please let's read this thing. These things I'm sharing are important for us. Please. It's going to help us move fast. All right. Promise me you all read this stuff before next at the end of today. Today. Promise me. Promise me. Nobody's promising. Fingers crossed.
Promise.
Shit, what's going on here now? I'm trying to why am I not able to type inside here? Is something wrong? Ah, somebody help me, please. Look at my screen. I'm now confused. You have promised me you. Please pray do. Let's read this. Documentations are very. I know we don't like reading documentations, but they're very helpful. We learn from documentations faster than. Okay. Well, just a matter of refreshing the page. ZBT Cloud, that was high.
On the contrary, I like documentation. I don't know why it's not people don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it though. I was forced to be reading documentation, I will not lie. At first it was overwhelming. Ah, jeez.
Thank.
Cool documentation is like the best.
It's the best. It saves you time. It saves you stress.
And also, you know that anything you don't see there, then that means it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because that's the authority now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So
Right, you're right.
want to create our int. I'm not going to talk so much about dimensional modeling basics. I imagine you have that information. We may touch it briefly, but let's just see what we can conclude in the next couple of minutes as we have with our time is already fast spent. What do we want to do? We want to create this model int all this order enriched, and this model is going to be formed by orders, order items, and payments. Now let us explore our tables quickly. Orders, we have our order timestamp and blah. Other items, we have our order information and order level. We have order item ID. Order item ID. Interesting. One, 2, 3, or count. Interesting world. I expected the order item ID to be unique, but in this case, it doesn't look like so. So it looks like it looks like a surrogate a concatenation of order ID and order item ID is what will be our unique value, right? And looking at this again, looking at the product ID, I'm just trying to make sense of the data. Okay, the same product. So the same product. I'm using like quantity. Is this quantity? Looks like this is quantity. Guys, what do you think? Is this quantity? Looks like this is quantity. Why did they call it that ID? Because the product ID is the same thing. Seller ID is the same thing. Okay, let's do this. So, what will be the grain of our data? Our data will be in line item grain because that's the smallest grain. True or false? Let me check the price. True, right?
I think so.
You think so?
But David, I think we are joining orders, item and payment, Abby.
Yes, we're joining other items. We're joining payment and we're joining to order ID. So let us see. So how do we do our stuff? We say with other items. Let's go. We'll figure it out as we proceed. Select star from. So yeah, I use a ref function and I'll reference my stage other items. And what's the other one? Others as that's the shortcut I use though. If I press my this thing twice, my underscore twice, it will give me different options. Let me show you again. And then I have what's the last table? Payments. Order payments. So it's very good to underscore 2 times. I have all these options. Config block, ref function, source function, everything. Google is here. That's just a trick. That's good to have. Okay, so the grain of our table of our data would be other items, right? Because other items are the smallest expected grain. In this case, so we'll say final as select let's see what we have in other items. I'm just going to do this on the fly. So ideally I should have like a Excel sheet where probably want to do this modeling and see how I want to bring this data in. But right now, my emphasis is not in the modeling, but in my data. So um, not in my dimensional modeling, but in my DBT. So I will prioritize that over this. Okay, so I'm going to do other items dot this, other items dot other item ID. I think I need a product ID as well. Other items dot product ID. I think I need a seller ID as well. Other items dot seller ID. Shipping limit date. I'm not sure, but I think I need the price. The price, the price, the price, the price, the price. Price times quantity. We'll play around with this and just try to understand this data more. Price. I have some hypotheses, but I'll just play around to understand if that is the case. Other items. I think we need freight value, shipping value as well, right? Um, okay. So we have other idea and we go to others. So our table is on the other items because that's the smallest grain. Every other table would join to this. Do we want customer ID? I think we do. So because I want all my IDs in one place, I'm gonna have orders dot customer ID. Order status. I don't know I want it here, sure. I'll have orders dot it's called order right here. Orders dot order dates. I think that's all I need here. Order dates. The other information will probably if we have a right now we're trying to enrich the other information. Maybe we need the delivery, customer delivery dates, estimated delivery dates, 17, 17, 10, 18, estimated. So it was estimated to be delivered on the 18th, but it was delivered on the 10th. So this will give us the kind of information to check fulfillment rate and other kind of information. Carrier delivery date. Carrier said they will deliver. Carrier delivery date. Maybe the date they picked up, I believe. And it was approved. Whether this was on the second, approved on the second. Carrier delivery date on the 4th. Customer delivery date on the 10th. Estimated delivery date on the 18th. We don't need so much of those information right now. It will be helpful, but we may not need it right now. Maybe for this kind of other dates, fulfillment kind of things. But we need other status. How far we sit together?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we are here. We are here.
You sound like you're hungry.
We deal with you, boss.
We'll be wrapping up now, and then we need payments. So I was gonna confirm if that guy is quantity with payment information, but let's just bring this in. Chidima, your hand is raised. Yes, go on.
Yeah, hello Dave. Your order item dot seller ID, there is a full stop there. I was thinking it's meant to be a comma.
Yes, they come as a
Yeah.
mistake.
Chai, I was waiting for him to run into error, so I'll just say that is it.
Wow, wow.
So then not to talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you very- So I have order ID. So interesting. So looking at this now, we can see that there's payment, there's installment happening here. Let's make sense with this data. I don't understand what I'm saying. It looks like payment is happening in installments. So let's pick one order ID. Let's see. This order ID has 4 installments. Let's take this order ID and check it out in orders table where order ID is this. So let's know if you're going to sum the payment information first by order ID. Okay. This guy has just one order records. His status is delivered. Now that means on the order table, order status is changing. Can you see? This what kind of changing dimension is this? This is a type 1. I think the type 1 change dimension. Yeah. I think I have a video on this. I can't remember. I think the type 1 where the old status is removed, right? It's just putting the new status. If it was a type 2, would have seen the previous status and when it was changed, but this is a type 1, right? So that means we can only know the current status of the order. We can't tell the previous status, right? Or maybe we can tell about it somewhere else. Let's see the other staging tables. I don't think so. So let's see the same order, what this order has in order items. There's end of class register attendance. Let me share with you. Guys, thank you for bearing with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I've dropped the form for us, not people that stay to the end of the day. And it just has one order item or one record. Okay, and the price is 68.65 plus 41.46. So let's see what is in the payments table. Okay, he has one record, but 4 payments. So everything here is like a type 1 changing dimensions, 4 installments. I was expecting I would see I was expecting to see records. I thought I would see records for every installment, like installment one, installment two, installment three, installment four. But since it just has one record and the number of installment, that means we can join everything without getting a fan out. So I want to confirm this so that we don't get a fan out, right? So if I just leave these filters in here and use for our test, and then if I do this sum, that was 410, I'll be what I can remember. 110, correct, 110. So the price and the freight price is used for payments. So let us see. What other information do we need for payment? I think, do we need installments, order payments, dot payments type. Guys, we need payment type if you're trying to enrich an order, not the payments information. Yeah, I think we do. Please, you can fill the form while we're just completing this. I'm done with this already. I think I understand the data now. Payment installments. Okay, sweet. Yeah, so let's do, okay, I've not done drawing, so from this, left join what? Left join orders on order items dot order ID equal to equal to orders dot order ID and what's the other one? Hey, Jesus. Hey. Payment type does not exist. Payment type. Shake it up, wait, this is not payment type. Order payments. Guys, look at my screen. What's going on? Order payments. Okay, I did not join. No, I've joined now. Order payments. I don't know what's going on. Well, it's like after, yeah. Can anybody see what's going on here? Aha. Nobody's telling me what's going on. Are you guys still here? Are people
Yes. Hey, hey, we are just trying to check the errors as well.
not telling the error? I've seen the error. I did not join.
Okay, left join. Yeah,
You asked on that 46.
Yes, thank you.
it's still the same thing.
I've removed the Yes, so we're on track now. All things being equal, let's take out our This guy. Okay, 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 okay. So this is what our int model looks like. We didn't think through much in terms of how we want to use our int model, but from this int model, we can now build up our facts model and also our dimension models. So for example, we could build our int dimension, int customer table here, int other dimensions table here as well. Yeah, I think this is good. This looks fine for our use case, and I think we have come to the end of the day. I think we covered. Okay, star schema. You all know star schema. You know fact and dimension tables. You know slowly changing dimensions. I've mentioned that. And then our math layer structure. So for you, you are to document your staging layer just like I have done, and you add your tests on all your staging models, at least uniqueness and not null tests on all your staging models, or not nulls for those ones that don't have any like dimension tables like product and stuff like that. And then you create three intermediate models out of this class. So in the absence of any thoughts, do you have any question?
So where are the intermediate models going to come from? Like we'll just think about it, right?
Yes, you can play around the data and come up with intermediate models. Yeah, can work on three. I think I had the notes for some. I had a note for this one I just showed now, customer orders and order delivery metrics. I'll just drop it on the chat on WhatsApp. So you can build off that. If you have other thoughts, God be with you. Have fun. So do we have any other question? No, we don't. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you again